Hello, SWS kids. Hello, everyone. My name is Tosin Jegede, and I'm I was the little girl. Was or is? Okay, so I am the little girl who is a grown-up adult now. And that picture was taken, I think, when I was 5 years old, actually. That was when I recorded that album and then released it when I was 6 years old. So that's a little bit of some time ago. But I am so glad that I'm able to talk to you all today and just talk a bit about what it was like for me as a child star, if you want to call it that. I remember then it's called it child prodigy. And when we when I would go out and sing, it was different because I was a child and there were other adults that were singers really. I was maybe the only child performing at a venue where we had big adults like Sonia Day or Yeka Onwenu or Fela performing. So that was interesting. Imagine when you're 7 or 8 and you're doing that. So I did that from when I recorded the album, which I mentioned when I was 5 years old, until when I was 16. So what was it like being a child star? What is it like singing, in front of people as a child? What is it like being someone that people want to see and they just like you because you want to sing? And what is it like to actually want to sing? So I think those are some of the things that I'd like to share with you. First of all, I think the first thing to understand is they say this to people that are adults, and it's very important to know that you will always think about this even when you are older. So whatever age you are now, 6 years old, 8 years old, 12 years old, 13, 19, whatever age it is, there's always a reason, or you have to always ask yourself, why? Why? Why do I want to sing? Why do I want to write my own songs? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to be like this person that I see? There are many reasons why. And it's always good to ask yourself why. For me, why was because I think I was 4 years old when I went with my dad to an orphanage in Isolo. It was called SOS Children's Village, and it's an orphanage where children who have been abandoned in the streets, they take care of the children there. And I remember it was a Christmas party, and we went to this orphanage with my dad. My dad was a singer, so it was like, when you just go on an excursion with your dad or your mom, just go somewhere. You don't even know what it's about. You just go, But for me, it was, I went there and I saw the children. And as far as I was concerned, I started asking questions. Like, there were many children there, but I didn't see any mummies or daddies. So I started asking questions. And I was like, oh, so these children don't have mummies and daddies? Okay, so who buys ice cream for them? As far as I was concerned, that was a valid question because I like ice cream. I mean, who doesn't like ice cream, really? But I liked ice cream. And I wanted to know, if they don't have mummies and daddies, who will buy ice cream for these children? And so someone actually said to me, or whoever it was, adult that was around me, explained to me that these were children who were being taken care of. Explained what an orphanage was to me. And all I could just think about was I was sad. I was sad that these children were here without mummies or daddies, and I felt that they were sad too. Maybe, obviously, now I know it's not always the case. But as far as I was concerned, I saw that when people sang, it was Christmas party, when people sang, they were dancing. And so when I was 4 years old, I said to my dad, I want to sing for them to make them happy. That's what I thought. Because the interesting thing for me was that was the reason why I wanted to sing. So every song that I sang was about how do I make those little children I saw happy. So that was my why when I started singing from when I was 4 years old. I came back, my dad wrote a song for me. I used his band, and it was titled A Little Help for My Friends. And I remember the first line was, a little help for SOS. A little help, a little help, a little help for SOS. A little help for my friends. Very simple song. I think there were verses to it, maybe one verse or two. But that was a song. I literally had to remember that as I was singing it. And this is a song I learned when I was 4 years old. I am not 4 years old anymore. I'm sure I don't look 4 years old anymore. But I still remember the song because it was my why. It was why I wanted to sing. For the next, like I mentioned, I was doing this from 6 to 16. For the next, I'm trying to count, 11 years. For the next 11 years, it was literally, that was why I did that. Say 10 years really, but that was really why I did that. So went on from there. I went into different, how I became Tosin Jegede, you see me, because I was 4 then. I recorded an album. The album actually, because every time, so I was on, okay, so another thing I'll say to all of you is, it's good to ask questions. And sometimes, yeah, it's good to be yourself and just enjoy it. And the more you do it, you will always realize that that's a bit of you. So sometimes as you're around adults, they're trying to sing or they're trying to play something or they're trying to sing a particular song, you don't like a particular word, or you just don't like the feel of one uncle or one auntie. Always again, I would say ask why. Why is it that this uncle auntie just seems to, why is it that this song, I don't really like the way this music is? Why is it that I don't want to say them in this song? I want to say all of us. Just those little things. Just always think why. Just spend a little time. I will tell you a secret. This is a funny info. Sometimes when I go and sit down by myself, when I can think about why, I usually do it when I'm on the toilet. It's funny, but if you think about it, in your house, when you go to the toilet, is anybody else with you? Is anyone else with you? Exactly. So it's usually yourself. So you can actually sit down there, and even if it's 1 minute, you can just think, okay, it's good to think about this kind of things. So for me, I was saying that this is part of the things that made me want to do what I did. And then for me, the different songs that I sang were really about children. How do we bring people together? How do we celebrate people? How do children, the first album was Children Arise, Let There Be Love Shared Amongst Us, Let There Be Love in Our Hearts. It was always those kind of positive songs, because as far as I was concerned, it was about me as a child. But it wasn't just me as a child, it was me and those children. So for me, I kept seeing that it wasn't just in Lagos that there was that orphanage. We saw that across Nigeria, there were these SOS orphanages as well. So I would go to a new state. I remember I went to Cross River. I remember I went to Zaria. And when I went there, it was mostly because I wanted to go and visit the orphanage that was in the area, or whatever locality that was. And when we would go there, they said, "Oh, Tosin Jegede is in town. Come to the radio station." And as we were preparing to, go there, they said, "Oh, the governor wants to see you for a visit. So we'll do a courtesy visit to the governor." That was kind of how I went to different states. It wasn't because I was on a tour. It wasn't because I wanted to, go from one place to another so more people will know my name and see me. It was because of, again, I'm saying that why, the reason why I wanted to do the music in the first place. And so that is part of what brought me to this. I think the other thing I was going to talk about as being a child star within those 10 years, I mean, being 5 to 16 is a long time, and I'm sure a lot of you are within that age group. I think the thing for me is, when you are anybody, a child or an adult, when you are on a stage, when people see you, there's something about how, because you're on the stage, they respect you, they want to be close to you, they want to touch you, they want to be around you. And so there's a thing also to also see yourself as you are a light. When someone is a light and you're in a dark place, as soon as the light comes on, everybody looks at the light. You can't have a light in a room, a dark room, and then the light comes on and you're not looking at the light. You want to just first of all look, like, where did that come from, kind of thing. So whenever you're around people, they want to be around you. I think the important thing about that is it becomes it becomes a responsibility. See it as an opportunity to stand beyond, stand somewhere between you and people. Many people will see you, and if you smile at them, you've made their day. If you're nice to them, you've made their day. If you go into a school and you say, "Oh, how are you?" to a little child, they recognize you. You've made their day. So you see that it's not just that you are someone that everybody likes or people want to be around you. It's actually seeing that there's a responsibility attached to it. And then also, I think one other thing that I've seen as well is the words that you use. So as you speak, as you sing words, you know that it's very nice, it sounds good, your voice sounds good, but there's also the power in those words that you sing. So one of the songs that I sang, which was on my second album, I remember. So I released 3 albums. So the first album when I was recorded when I was 5, the second album I recorded when I was 7. And that album has a song called Leaders of Tomorrow. And on that song, the chorus was, "Parents, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Try to pay our school fees and give us sound education." Now, that song, I remember when my dad wrote it with another guy. I can't remember the guy's name. But I remember when we were writing the song or thinking about it, I remember I used to tease around some of the words, and I was involved in what it sounded like, because I knew that as I'm singing it not just to parents exactly, but it's also it's us children singing it to our parents. So I'm not just representing me for my parents that they should pay my school fees, which obviously is useful because I want to go to school, but also that they they the words are words that other children can relate to because they want to have a sound education. The verse says children are gifts from God. Children are gifts from God. But also it's like do your best for your children. So if they want ice cream, give them ice cream. I keep going back to ice cream. But if you want something being taken care of, you give them that. You want to go out, you want a gift, you want a new dress. Those are kind of things you can have conversations, and sometimes parents are not always happy, not everything is going perfectly. But the thing is, just know that your children still respect you, and just know that they are gifts from God. So it's like a responsibility of knowing I'm singing the words. So whenever you as a child goes into the studio, you know that you're not just singing your voice to sing, however. You're actually singing words which represents, and to be honest, music is art. And art always goes before you. It goes ahead of you. It goes to places that you will never be in those rooms, but your music, your voice is in that room. So it's good to see and understand that it's not just about being famous. It's not just about everybody knowing you. It's not just about, okay, I'll do this and this is what I think is going to happen. There are other bits to it, which is that responsibility of the work that you're doing, the responsibility of the art. And obviously as well, when you do anything, you want to do your best. So on the issue of trying to do your best, when I was young, really, when I was a singer, I remember between I think the first and second album. So the first album, my voice pretty much sounded like baby voice, like how are you, just baby voice. And by the second album, I started thinking, oh, you should do voice training, you should do this, you should do that. And I will never forget one day my mom heard that if you drink raw egg, it will help your voice. So my mom made me hot chocolate with raw egg. It was one of the most horrible things I've ever drank in my life. It was the only time I drank it. But I think my mom realized, okay, after I tried to throw up a few times of drink, after drinking, I was like, I didn't, she didn't give it to me again. The next thing was I like Coke, Coke or Sprite or whatever, or water. And they just made sure that I didn't drink anything that was cold. I could only drink things that were hot, because having hot drinks will help your voice as well. So all these different things that you have to do because you're having to do your best. So when I go into the studio, my voice is smooth and I can sing properly. Those are part of the things I had to do when I was 7, 8 years old, just to be able to make sure that I was doing my best. Down to when we had rehearsals, when we had to dance, we had to do our best in that aspect. So these are some of the things that I I had to, well, I went through basically as a young child singer. And yeah, it was an interesting time. It was great. I learned a lot. And yeah, let's see if there's anything else that I can share with you in the next few videos.